Fantastic. Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us this evening. We've had a lot of emergency. Carol, who usually is hosting this, she's had to be called away for other reasons. So we're going to miss her tonight. She's been fantastically doing amazingly well to be hosting all the webinar series. So tonight you're left directly with the three of us, myself, Dr. Chris McConnell, and I am President-elect of the BACD. We have Paul Abrahams, who is current President of the BACD, and Simon Chard, who is Vice President of the BACD. What we're going to do tonight is we're just going to run through a little bit about where the BACD is at the moment, what we've been up to for the last year, and kind of where we're looking to go forward. I think COVID, without a doubt, has been a huge kick in the nether regions for everybody this year, and the BACD is had the same troubles that we have had in practice, and we've been spending a lot of time trying to put everything back together and really come out of this much stronger. So all the struggles that we have all been having in practice, we've been doing the same sort of things we've been having the same problems in the BACD, and really we are looking to consolidate and come out with this really well. Tonight is also just a really good opportunity for you guys to ask any questions. Clearly, because this year we didn't have conference, we haven't had committee days, we haven't really had a lot of engagement with everybody other than on webinars and Zooms. So please feel free to ask lots of questions. I'll kind of moderate it along with Paul. And first of all, I'd like to ask Paul just to introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. It's an absolute privilege to be the first virtual president of the BACD. That's been the kind of year that we've had. Been difficult, but we've been very active and proactive. As Chris said, look forward to a really good year ahead. From my perspective, it's amazing to be president, having been involved with the BACD for 9 years. It's been a long, hard journey, but finally to get there is great. And like I say, I look forward eventually to seeing you all in person. Over to Simon.
Hi guys, yeah, Simon Chard, Vice President now, which is a position that I took over during lockdown, and one that I'm very excited about. I think just to echo what the guys have said, we've been working incredibly hard. Obviously, I've just moved out of my position as Scientific Director, so I've been ensuring before lockdown and even during lockdown that actually we've brought together a real top draw line of speakers, both for this year's conference, the educational calendar throughout the year, which will be a hybrid mix moving towards physical when it's more predictable to do so, and then even 22's lineup for conference. We've basically made a decision as the board to throw everything at the quality of speakers that we can get, and we've really basically just got the best speakers in the world. So we're all really excited about it. We'll tell you all more when we're allowed to, which is annoying, I know, because I'd love to tell you everyone who we have. But yeah, we're really excited about it, and yeah, excited where the academy is going moving forward.
Yeah, I'm equally excited. And Simon was just touching on kind of conferences coming up. This year we have a fantastic conference. We'll run through that a little bit later with our headline speaker, Pascal Magnier. And then next year there's a massive speaker, and we as a board are currently under a non-disclosure agreement at the moment with the speaker. So that's why we can't disclose, but it is huge, and we're really excited about who we have coming on. We've got a question here just come through. I'll answer this one just as it's first up, and it's really, who is your most memorable speaker at a conference and why? For me, that would have to be a chap called Mike Kozarski. This was I think the second conference I ever went to is in 2005, I think. And he, for me, completely changed the way that I look at cosmetic dentistry. He came up, and I kind of hadn't really done anything like this before, and I found it really stimulating, meeting the people, engaging with all the BACD people, and that for me was the kind of the start of my cosmetic dental journey. And it was an absolute pivotal moment in my career, because otherwise I would not have gone down the route that I have gone down. So for me, that's my most memorable speaker. Same question to Simon.
Different speaker, but for a similar reason for me, I guess. I think mine was actually when I was either still a student or it was my first year. I was still VT. I was definitely wearing one of those red T-shirts anyway. I think we were up in Manchester. And it was Salama and Garba. And it was, yeah, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Completely blew my mind. And as you say with your speaker, Chris, just opened my eyes to the possibilities, really.
Fantastic. And Paul, same question.
I think for me, Chris, there's been so many, I mean, going back so many years, and I think, certainly in recent times, one of the most memorable speakers has to be Kois, just for that incredible filled room of people and the buzz that was created. And I think we all realised there we were in the room with someone very special and inspirational. And I think at all levels, whether you're a student or just starting out or where we are in our careers, it was just the most incredible lecture. And I think that kind of, for me, summed up what the years of the BACD have all been about, that we can bring those speakers here and expose everyone to that. It was just incredible and inspirational.
It was phenomenal. It was really, really good. And another question here, who has influenced your career most and why? Paul, we're with you. Would you like to continue?
Well, again, you know, lots of people in the BACD. Outside of that, I think, again, I've got to go back to the early 90s, and some people will laugh at this, but Larry Rosenthal was an absolute inspiration for many of us in the cosmetic journey and his group, and got us going. Personally, and unfortunately he's not with us anymore, but one of my big inspirations has to be Anoop Mayani. He was a friend, he was a mentor, and he's actually a couple of years younger than me, but he kind of pulled me into the BACD and encouraged me along the way. And you know, here I am sitting as president, and a lot of that is down to someone like Anoop. And those kind of people with those kind of personalities, you know, there's lots of them within the BACD, and we all draw inspiration from them. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and I think we also have to add on with Anoop, you know, he was a massive presence for the whole of BACD, and we have a Memorial Day that we've been really trying to get off the ground for the last couple of years because of COVID, kind of got in the way. It was supposed to be last June. And so we will keep you all informed about that. It's a great kind of community meeting and educational day, so it will keep you updated on that. Another question, Simon, please, if you could. What clinical changes have you made in practice because of the BACD?
Well, I mean, pretty much everything I do, to be honest. I mean, to start off, I joined the BACD, and I've just seen Sam Jethwal's arrived. He'll remember this from when we were students at King's, but I first joined the BACD through Tiff Qureshi. He opened my eyes to GDP orthodontics, Align, Bleach and Bond, through the old Forum Dental Town before we used to put all of our cases on social media. And yeah, he was the person that recommended that I got involved with the BACD. So everything from there up, through my photography, through my treatment planning, that led on me to Chris Orr and the aesthetic restorative course. So yeah, I think everything from the base up to the real niche stuff that I now do has been built off what I've learned through the BACD.
Yeah, I think personally I would completely agree with that as well. My whole journey, as I said before, if it hadn't been for the BACD, I don't think I would have aligned with these kind of people. And I definitely wouldn't have the kind of career that I'm having at the moment. You know, we set up a new practice a couple of years ago, and it's completely aligned with high-end cosmetics. It's fully digital. We're doing all the DSD stuff. We do everything that is the BACD kind of gets in on board, all these people. The key thing is we don't just bring all these people in and these companies in just for the fun of it. We bring them in because there's a kind of a pathway that really we have all found works for us, and it's kind of helping one another, because after all, you know, we are a community, which leads me on to kind of the networking part of the BACD, and this is a massive part of the BACD. Guys, anyone want to kind of go through networking opportunities and everything that we have?
I think, Chris, again, I'm going to just touch on something you just said there about fundamentals. I mean, for all of us, you know, in terms of getting involved with cosmetic dentistry, it starts with the fundamentals and the basics. and growing through to, as Simon said, the niche things. And I think we're very good at that. And part of that community aspect is being involved with people who are doing the niche stuff, doing the high-end stuff, and networking with them, and just being and talking to them about what we're doing. I mean, one of the things certainly that we've worked on this year, which I think is an amazing thing for everyone going forward, is the sort of mentoring. So anyone can come in and talk to any of us on the board and have any questions about any aspects of what they're doing, whether it be the most simple composite filling or the most complex case. And we're there to advise and help. And that's something new that we've introduced this year. And it's just such an important thing as part of membership.
Yeah, and that's accessible through the website, isn't it? Yeah, there's a link there. Great.
Guys, can I jump in? Sorry, I meant to be hosting and I'm so sorry I was late. Thank you for doing the sort of starter stuff. Well, I wasn't late. I had to go to my practice. So I've got a few sort of stuff here. Have you all done it, kind of talked about your most memorable conference speaker?
Yeah.
So I have a couple of questions that have kind of come in pre this. And obviously we're hoping that people from the group are going to also ask their questions. But there is a sort of a question that's come in from somebody who isn't actually a BACD member, but it says, you know, they've been a few years qualified, and they would say, how did you get involved with the BACD and how could they get involved? Who would like to answer that?
I guess I've kind of just given my answer to that. So why don't you guys, Chris, I think you're probably Paul said that he's been strong armed by Anoop. I came in through Tiff. So why don't you tell your story?
Okay, my story. My story is a little bit eclectic. I kind of was really interested in cosmetic dentistry at uni. And then I finished uni and kind of went off the boil and was just getting stuff done. And then kind of decided I wanted to try and get back into cosmetic dentistry. So that's when, as I said, I went in to the BACD. Now, I went in and I enjoyed the first conference and I thought that's great. And then I kind of decided to leave the BACD because I thought, well, you know, I've done that bit and that's great. And I'm going to concentrate on getting really good. And you know what happened? I just kind of, it went stale. Not a lot happened. And I kind of then realized that it wasn't just the conference. It wasn't the one speaker and me trying to pick up ideas and techniques. It was a progressive journey. And in order to make the progressive journey, you need people around you who are there to support you. And so then I came back to the BACD a few years later, joined up and started to immerse myself a little bit more with the community. And it's there that my kind of career or dental career or cosmetic career really started to flourish. I became really good mates with David Bloomy and Elaine Halley. And they kind of helped me as well. And as Paul was saying with mentoring, again, same thing with Anoop as well. And it just kind of snowballed through. So for getting started in cosmetic dentistry, I would 100% come along and meet us all. We're human beings. We all used to be there at one point. We are more than happy to share a beer with you at the bar. I definitely am. You know, I think we all will be. Was it June the 21st? How far off is that?
Wait, yeah, absolutely.
And we're there to chat. Please, you know, when I first arrived, I did think I was kind of scared of these big people, these big names who I'd kind of seen in all the magazines and stuff. Don't be, just come and say hi. And it's a family, and that is really what is most special for me.
Yeah, I had exactly the same experience, Chris, in that after this initial encounter with Tiff, he said, come along to this event, come along to that event. And you go to those first few events and I mean, speaking personally, I felt a bit nervous. I mean, I was straight out of uni, a student actually, at my first few events. And going to those first events is quite daunting because you don't necessarily know everyone. You don't know anyone. And someone like people like Zaki and Tiff and all these guys there, and everyone else seemed to know everyone. But then gradually, as you attend more and more and more, you become colleagues and friends, and you pick up mentors, and you immerse yourself in the community. So as with everything in life, you've got to take that first step. But if you keep on doing it, then you become a part of the community, and that's what it's all about, really.
It's also just understanding through the year there's things going on at a local level, smaller groups. You know, there's just so much going on, so you can join at any level.
Sounds good. So does anybody who's on the call at the moment have anything that they'd like to ask Paul, Chris or Simon? If you do, just unmute yourself and maybe put your camera on so they can see who they're talking to. Okay, well, I'll carry on with some of the questions that we've already had sent in. So here's one that I think should be quite a good one. So as a newly qualified dentist, apart from joining the BACD, could each of you say what your top tip would be for that newly qualified dentist? Who wants to start with that one?
Well, I'll start with that. Take your time. You know, do things thoughtfully and carefully. Don't rush into anything. And you know what? Seek out mentors. I think he's not on the call at the moment, but for me, the people that you come into contact with at the beginning of your career are probably the most important people that can guide you in the right direction. And think very carefully about the people you work with and who's around you in practice, because fundamentally they get you on the right path. And for me, that was very important when I started to start in practice with someone who allowed me and showed me the way and put me in the right direction. So, and again, I think our community is very good at doing that, and that's what's so fundamental about the BACD.
Yeah, I would agree. I think for someone starting out, I think the very first thing is to consolidate your skills, is to not go course bagging. Okay, I think that's one of the worst things to do. Get in practice, learn your trade, and very importantly, get a roadmap for where you want to go. All right, have a little plan of a journey of where you want to go, and then work progressively towards that. And do any courses or educational stuff or non-educational stuff that helps you go on that journey in the right direction. Because otherwise, what happens, and I've definitely been there, you jump about from one thing to the next, and there's always the shiny penny, and then you realize actually you've spent a lot of money and you haven't really got anywhere. So I think having an idea of where you're going, and then consolidating and focusing on that journey, that is the most important. And I would agree with Paul, a mentor, 100%. And in addition, if you speak to indemnity companies now, they really value mentorship. So if you can demonstrate you have a mentor, then that really helps also.
Yeah, I mean, two great points there that I literally couldn't agree with more. I think especially that last point on purpose. So many people when I qualified did MFDS, MJDF, whatever it was called, did a DF 2 year. When they didn't really have any idea which direction they were going in. They were just sort of following the crowd and doing what everyone else was doing. But if you can actually create some direction and actually know what your purpose is, it's incredibly powerful. I think just a couple more practical tips that are, I think, incredibly important for all newly qualified dentists is making sure that you're using magnification and making sure that you have a dental camera set up and you're taking photos of your work. Those two things I think are instrumental to how quickly you develop your clinical skills and how much you enjoy your job, to be honest, because before I had loops, doing dentistry was incredibly hard. It's still hard with loops, but it's a lot easier. So yeah, those two things I think are vital, really. Brilliant.
Some great tips there. And so kind of going to the other end of things, if somebody's been a member of the BACD for 10 years, you know, what would we be able to offer them as an academy to suggest that they should continue? What's new and fresh that we've got to offer sort of our more long-term members?
Well, Carol, I've been a member for a long time, almost since inception. I don't think it ever bores me. The bottom line is we've always got something fresh. We're bringing speakers from all over the world, some of the best international speakers, hands-on. My mantra, I suppose, is you never stop learning. There's always something to learn, whether it be from someone older than you, younger than you. By surrounding yourself with the right people, it never stops. And actually, it keeps the interest going. I mean, I love what I do because of new things that come along all the time. And you've got to keep that going. And I think we offer that broad range for everyone, whatever their experience. I think, when I'm going back to conferences, when you think about someone like Kois, there's something there for everyone. I mean, there's no question.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. And also being somebody who kind of has been sat in that middle ground bit and looking at kind of where you know, what value do I get back, and what can the BACD give me as well for my commitment to them. I think that's something that we've really focused on as well during lockdown, and I think this is something that's very important moving forward. I have a huge big saying, and you're going to hear it a lot, kind of what's in it for me. I really want us as the board to engage with our members, but equally I really want members to engage with the board, and also engage with the academy. We are such an amazing academy. We have such strength. I think many members are not actually aware how strong we are and the standing that we have in our community. And one of the things that we're really keen to start to do is to promote the awareness of cosmetic dentistry into the public arena. But to do this, we need your help as members, because we are going to do it together. And this is one of the big things of kind of what's in it for me, what can it deliver? I want patients driven to your door because they know the word BACD. They're looking for a BACD dentist to do their work. So this is the big drive we're coming towards, and we're moving on, and we can kind of elaborate on some of this. There's a huge amount of, especially if you're kind of in that middle range, Carol, I think you're probably talking about people who maybe are own practices as well. There's an absolute shed load of benefits, member benefits that we have. And I think personally, people aren't maybe using them all, and really encourage you to go on and have a look. Carol, do you want to list them all off?
Yeah. So we've got like a lot. There's obviously the overall overarching membership benefits, such as being part of the community, but we're always talking to businesses to ask them, you know, and trade to ask them what, you know, how they can work and support the BACD. So at the moment, we've got a really fantastic discount with Digimax, who will offer a 20% discount off website creation. And we often get this conversation about whether all our benefits are just for practice owners or whether they are for associates. And I think that there's an increasing number of associates who are creating their own website and their own brand. And I personally, as a practice owner, would completely endorse that as a really great plan. I don't see that as a threat at all to a practice. I think that it's only a win-win in that scenario. So that's one benefit. You can get various discounts and rebates from Dental Directory. I would just say that they don't do this on facial aesthetics, but if you spend enough with Dental Directory, I think it's £12,000 a year, they will pay for your BACD membership. Another good one is that there's a fantastic offer for an annual subscription with Dental Update. So again, that's one that is useful for all, I think, all dentists, well, everybody who's a member of the BACD. We've just also started a partnership with a company called MoxieWorks, which is a marketing agency who will do a free review of your marketing. And again, that could be for a practice owner or an associate, depending on where you want to position your brand. We've also just launched a partnership with a company called Implant Sure, which is insurance for your implants. Again, you know, that's how you wish to look at it. And there are some.
Carol, can I sorry to interrupt? Can I just jump in on that Implant Sure deal, because I've just signed up with them using the BACD discount, and it's a brilliant weight off my mind, to be honest. I mean, they insure each implant. I think it's £1,000 for prosthetics and £1,500 for surgery per implant. So any implant failure within 5 years is insured just at a price of £135. So I think that's actually a really good thing for any implant surgeons to look at, or even potentially people who are restoring implants, because implant failures are a reality. Had one come out this week that I wasn't expecting, and it would have been nice if that one had been insured. So it's yeah, I think that's a really key benefit that we should talk about.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. You said, you know, it's an expensive thing to fix, so that's a great benefit. We've got another benefit. Sorry, so with Optident, we've got loads of offers with Optident. And Optident, you know, we've had a few questions about, you know, things. There's one that's just popped up about, you know, what is the one thing you can't work without? Well, there's many things that we'd all probably list that we can't work about. Be interested to hear what Paul and Simon and Chris want to say about that. I know we've already said loops and camera, but is there something else you just literally, if you went to work and it wasn't there, you'd have to turn around and walk back out again? But Optident obviously do have an awful lot of fantastic products that I think we all use in our day-to-day life.
I think, sorry, Carol, I think one of the new ones, a massive member benefit that is about to come out, and I think Paul should tell us about this, is from a company called Chairside.
So just going back to generally relationships with the trade, I mean, I think historically and currently as an organisation, we've got amazing relationships with trade and constantly talking to them, constantly getting offers from them for our members. And that's always ongoing. So there's always something new. It's always something you've got to look out for on the website, because that's a really huge benefit of membership. And I think probably most of us are underutilising what's there. This will be launched next week. We're just working with, I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's an organisation called Chairside. It's a virtual and chairside education software with patients. So they will be discounting all BACD members. The key thing about it is that it's real-time recording of conversations that you'll have virtually or directly with a patient online. The big thing is that it's been underwritten by DPL, who are accrediting this as something that they can use in the future to protect you. And I think it's an absolute game changer. When you speak to your patients virtually, there's a software suite of animations which you can show to your patients and discuss treatment with. And like I say, all that will be recorded and put into the notes. They've got links with various software providers, Software of Excellence, Dentally. It's just incredible.
Paul, am I right in saying that we have specific BACD imagery videos around cosmetic dentistry?
So we'll be working. So just to explain that, on the software suite, there's a number of animations available. So if you're discussing, for instance, whatever crowns, there's a fantastic animation that explains to a patient exactly what a crown is, root canals, whatever it might be. We'll be working directly with Chairside to develop a BACD suite we can go into, and there'll be a variety of cosmetic procedures that we can show to patients and discuss. And we have absolute input on that, Simon, in terms of what's seen and shown.
And I think that's really important. Sorry, Chris, do you want to go ahead?
I think the big thing with this, though, Paul, is that Chairside is open to all clinicians. However, the BACD part of Chairside is only for BACD members.
100%.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's associates or principals. It's available to everyone. I mean, I think when it comes live for you, please have a look, because I think it's an incredible help for everyone, particularly on the protection side.
I think the other thing, guys, is I've really actioned quite strongly on virtual consultations since probably April last year. And doing them myself was very, very difficult. It takes a lot of time, but very fruitful coming back to work. Having a TCO doing this, but having that educational element standardized from the TCO, so that if you lose your TCO and you get another one, they've got that all there. I think that's going to be really, really important moving forward, because for anyone that doesn't have a treatment coordinator in their practice, I would thoroughly recommend making the leap towards it, because it's been massive for me, reducing my workload for new patient generation through social media especially. So I think Chairside and the collaboration that we're doing with them is another indication of the direction that BACD is moving in, trying to be as current as possible, trying to bring in the biggest value for the membership. And I think the Implant Sure and Chairside collaborations are both really strong examples of that.
And there's other ones as well. I mean, there's so many that are going on, and I think it's really important that people kind of look into it. We just got into collaboration again with Swallow Dental and something called Quick Sleeper. Quick Sleeper I've been using for a while, and it is a really, really good product. ID blocks, they don't exist anymore. Quick Sleeper, you can numb something up in the mandible literally within 90 seconds or a minute even, and then you can crack on, whether it's RCT extraction, whatever you're doing. So they're massive, and they've got I think, Carol, if I'm right in saying, I think they've got free 30-day demos for all members. So if you're a member, again, you can get hold of them. And there's digital stuff as well. iTero doing free, coming out to you and demoing them COVID relate and COVID allowance, 3Shape doing the same thing. So there's a huge amount there for members.
Absolutely, and I think Quick Sleeper has also got a discount off their normal price. So it's a really good deal. There's a question popped in here for Simon. Who trained your TCO?
So my TCO is my old nurse, so she's very well versed in what I say to my patients, which is helpful. But since going into the formal TCO role, the team at Denplan, have been very, very helpful. They have Denplan Academy, so they've given me quite a lot of training, and I'm at the moment putting her in with Laura Horton, just to keep on improving, because she's very, very engaged. She was actually a nurse, to be completely frank with you all, that was thinking about moving on to something else because she was getting a bit bored with being a nurse. Maybe it was my boring chat, I don't know. But she's got a new lease of life now that she has this TCO role, and she's a great team member. So we're thrilled with it.
Excellent. Is anybody who's on the call got anything that this would like to ask now that they've listened a little bit more to some of the things that the guys have got to say? No, anyone?
Carol, I'm going to just leap in. I just want to, something we haven't talked about is the charity for this year, which I think is really important for people to understand that we get for me as president, I get a choice of who I'd like to support or who I'd like the BACD to support. And I felt this year it was important, bearing in mind the year that we've all had, that we engage with a charity that helps our profession, and particularly in this country. And for those of you who don't know, there's a new charity called Confidential, which is involved in helping people who might be struggling a little bit with, particularly with mental health, dentists, nurses, anyone involved with the profession. And I just think it's an amazing charity. We've got lots of events planned through the year. The next one, or the big one that's coming up, is the whiskey tasting. I think Shamik's somewhere on the call. Thanks for organising that, Shamik. So please have a look at the website. Please look at the events that are coming, and please support us, because I think it's a really important charity for us all. The other side of that is, if you want to help Confidential, and they're always looking for people to man the helplines as well. So that's another way of getting involved on the other end of that and supporting fellow dentists.
Yeah, that whiskey tasting, for anyone that's interested, is on the 25th of March. Obviously, it's via Zoom, but you get your whiskey miniatures sent out, and yeah, Sham is quite the whiskey expert, so I think he's organised quite a special lineup for us. So it looks like a really good event. It's £40. All the money goes to charity, to Confidential. So it's yeah, it should be a really fun one.
Sounds good. And I think for later in the year, we might be looking at doing like a gin and tonic version for those who aren't necessarily whiskey fans.
Wine.
Wine.
To come, for sure.
Yeah, there's wine happening as well. So we've already got a wine tasting evening coming up. So we're just going to finalize the dates. And Chris Baker, who works with us, who's I think is on his way to becoming a sommelier, is going to host that one. So yeah, watch this space.
Yeah. I think that's the other side of the BACD that's so incredible, is that
Drinking.
Social. Not the drinking, the social.
Simon, we call it networking.
sorry, networking.
I will just like to point out that there are some events potentially planned that don't have to involve drinking.
Yeah, we always say drink responsibly.
Yeah.
We do indeed. So have we yet had an opportunity? Let's talk about the conference this year, because obviously we had to cancel the conference last year. I know that there's been a huge amount of work that's going and has gone into organising a phenomenal conference up in Edinburgh this year in November. Who wants to kick off about why we should all be there?
Should I lead it out? It is my baby.
Go.
So yeah, I mean, it's basically what we've done, just to give you guys sort of full clarity and transparency, is that I had a partial lineup set up for 2021, with the headliner being Pascal Magnier. We've taken some of our speakers from 2020 and put them into the 2021 conference. So for example, Miguel Stanley, who was due to speak in 2020. We've now brought him into 2021. So basically what that means is we're going to have both for the next 2 years and hopefully forevermore, a mega lineup of speakers, because we've taken the best and put them all into one conference. So to give you guys a bit of a very brief overview, as I've mentioned, we've got a full day with Pascal Magnier on the Friday. The hands-on, we've got Anthony Mack coming over from Australia, talking about resin injection techniques. We've got Amanda Say coming over. We've got Minesh Patel doing photography. We've got Ian Buckle doing digital. Govinda Berth and Andy Chandapal doing treatment of the worn dentition with composite. That's a course that I've heard fantastic things about, so very excited about that. Bit of surgical training from the Sweden and Martina team, which is guided implant surgery and provisionalization in the anterior zone. That's with Stefano Lombardo, who is an incredible speaker. And then on the Saturday, as I say, we've got Miguel Stanley, we've got Nitsan Bachacho and Mirela Ferraru. Try and say those when you've had a few drinks. And yes, we've got Dipesh Palmer as well, giving us a brand new talk on composites versus ceramic veneers, which should be really interesting. So yeah, a couple of best of British there, Minesh and Ian Buckle and Dipesh. And then some incredible international speakers coming in as well. So it should be something for everyone.
Sounds fantastic. What about, Chris, do you want to talk about what we've got planned as our social program?
Yeah. Well, in Edinburgh or in general?
No, in Edinburgh.
Oh, in Edinburgh. Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. We've got, I think we're trying to organise a whiskey. It's very alcohol based. I think being Edinburgh, that's kind of the rub, isn't it? So yeah, there's the usual events going on in the evenings. I think there's a whiskey tasting night on one of the days. Might be the Saturday or the Thursday. The Wednesday, I think there's an event that's being sponsored by a boutique again on the Thursday. We've got the gala dinner, obviously, going on the Friday.
That's at the National Museum of Scotland. That would be pretty spectacular.
Yeah. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, Susie says that venue is incredible. So I think that'll be a real special one.
Yeah. So
I think the whole conference would be very special because everyone's be in the same room together will be just special.
Yeah.
From the story, so can't wait, really.
Yeah, just to add, yeah, we've got a special party on the Thursday night, and the whiskey night is actually on the Saturday.
And I think we've also said that if people are going to be up on the Wednesday night, we'd see if we can put something together to try and make sure it's a real event for the entire period of time. So a lot of work going on that. Excellent. Good. So still hoping somebody might wish to ask these. It's a great opportunity to ask these guys anything you want.
Could I just also inform everybody about our brand ambassador program that we're launching out? So this is something again that we've been working on for a while, and it was supposed to really be launched last year, right as COVID hit. So clearly, because it hit, it kind of got put on the back burner, but we're ready to roll it out now. The Brand Ambassador Program is a really exciting program, and it is about it's about us using the weight that the BACD has in our community and the contacts we have to promote you, our members, to your patients and to your local community. We've got one of the strands of the Brand Ambassador Program is that we have a ready to go media pack for you, which we will send to you if you're interested. And the media pack explains how you contact your local newspapers, how to engage with them, who you engage with or who you look to engage with. We will send you articles which you can use, and you can pen your name into it, so it becomes from the BACD, but you're the opinion of the BACD in your area. We will be sending you articles every fortnight about all sorts of things that are dental related that are in the news, so it will help you with your social medias. finding stories, because content is always the biggest, hardest thing to find. We're going to be promoting all this. We're looking at other ways to help you by doing videos and everything as well. There's a videographer that that Sam Jeth was very very well put together, and this videographer will come down and we will profile certain people with members within the BACD, and we will profile you on video, not only on our platform, which goes out across the world, to be fair, but also you will have the ability to use these videos locally as well. So that's another big thing to do. Now, all of this is available to people who engage with the BACD. And as I said earlier, it's kind of what's in it for me, but also kind of, how we need your help to grow. We need to come together as a community. So the Brand Ambassador Program is currently available to everyone who's accredited, all past presidents, board members, and committee members. Okay, so if you want to get involved with this, it's really easy. You just give us a ring and then you come and join in a committee, and then we really look forward to the most important thing for us as we're going on all day is community and friendship. Okay, and we are one big community, and we love to see people come on board at committee level, and then people evolve from committee onto board, and that's really important because that keeps the whole thing going. So people come in and everybody is judged on their ability and on their enthusiasm to engage with it. And what we want to do is enthusiastically engage back with you. So this is what that program is about.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And what about sort of, I know we know that our members want education, and on top of the conference, what are we hoping to be able to provide when we're allowed to later in the year? What have we still got up our sleeves?
Well, I can just, I can run through the educational calendar for you, what's planned for 2021, and hopefully going live. We've got in Birmingham on the 15th of May, Comel Surrey, Riaz Yar. I don't think that one will go out live, am I right in saying? I think that will probably be online. 5th of June, Sam, will yours go out live? Are you expecting? Is Sam still on the call? I think he's gone. So there's a number of things. 12th of June, Digital Smile Design. 26th of June. 7th of August. There's just a whole run of things every month. And like I say, hopefully as soon as we can go live, we will. Anything that can't go live will be online, of course, as usual. So it's always ongoing.
I think the plan moving forward is also to use the new way of doing things with regards to webinars, bring in more webinars into our training platforms to go alongside the physical educational days that have been very, very successful so far. And then on top of that, because those are in sort of hub locations now, because we decided to go for quality, not over quantity on those, to get the best speakers into these hub locations. We've also now introduced this local study club approach, where we're going to have treatment planning sessions at lots of different practices, in essence, of BACD members, so that local dentists who are all part of BACD, and don't forget there's 750 members of the BACD, so they're spread across the whole of the country, and that there are local communities that form. We want to really hone in on those so that there's a more regular local treatment planning and a structured treatment planning sessions that we're going to be organising with models that are sent out and that sort of thing. So I think we've really got a nice spread of regular educational opportunities to go alongside our sort of headlines of the big summer free event, the business day, the masterclasses, and the conference, of course.
And also the webinars, understanding that's something we've worked on during lockdown, that's added to the website. Everything on there is available to members, and that's ongoing. We're adding to that all the time, so that's available at any time for anyone to watch.
Excellent. Sounds we've got a lot going on, really, and I think the key message there is to people is to keep an eye on the website and keep an eye on your emails so that you're kept up to date with what's happening. I think now here's a question to people on the call. are there any speakers or topics that you'd like the BACD to actually either have available or create study days around them? Does anybody want to maybe put forward some ideas of what you'd like us to bring to you?
They can type it if they're too shy to speak.
You can put anything into the chat, and if you don't wish to say it yourself, you can.
I'd like
just let us know. It's absolutely fine at any time, because we always want to hear about speakers that people have heard that think might be good for us. So.
I'd like to see Mike Kozarski again, so I can see if I've grown.
Well, I think there are some great speakers that we've had in the past that have certainly been very entertaining, you know, going forward. So guys, I think we're kind of getting towards the end. Is there any sort of final words that three of you would like to kind of leave people with? And then we'll...
I mean, I just want to sum it up and say, for me, and I think for everyone involved with BACD, I've got my three things, and it's all about, fundamentally, it's about education, but education in the right way. But then community, and then the passion that we have. And that's really what we're about. So going forward, that's, you know, stay with us. It's all going to get very exciting this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah, my one would be, I really want to see the BACD grow now in the public arena and public eye, and that's something we've been working really hard with, to engage with the right people in the media, and we're now getting there. But we need our members' help to grow in the public eye, and it's benefiting members and it's benefiting the academy moving forward. Because in America, a patient walks into a clinic and they go, "Are you an AACD registered dentist?" And if you're not, they're off next door. And we know that because we speak to the AACD guys. We want the same thing here in the UK. We want them coming again. "Are you a BACD dentist?" And we want you going, "Yeah." And it's essential, because there is so much cosmetic dentistry that is done so badly out there, and we are such, you know, the academy is so strong. So for me, I'd love members to engage with us. I'd love us to help members, and I'd love us to try to grow this together for the benefit of all.
Yeah, really. And I think the final point for me is, the key thing for me moving forward is a two-pronged attack. And this came up in one of the BACD groups recently, with a discussion around doing things the traditional way versus doing things in more modern ways. And I think the big focus for me moving forward is both of those two things, is to make sure that we pay homage and continue to do the things the BACD's always done so well, like the big community, like the mentoring, the support, and all of the things that have helped all three of us up here, well, four of us, and Carol and everyone else who's on the board, helped all of us to grow, but also that we continue to innovate. And I'm very keen to differentiate ourselves with the most modern ways of education being delivered, and provide the best quality of education that we can do for our members, really.
Yeah, and you know, and part of that, I think, something, you know, is growing, as we've said, growing through our educational pathway, where it will be the most basic thing, but then also leading to things like accreditation. You know, that's available for any member to engage in that process. I know it can be a difficult process, but that's the ultimate, really. So whatever level you're at, it's there for you.
Brilliant.
Well, I think in note as well with the accreditation thing, last year we came out, well, our lovely friend Ollie Harmon devised the accreditation wheel, didn't it? Yeah. And so if you want to try to, on Paul's note of, you know, do accreditation, it's been chunked down really easily by Ollie and how to get there. So again, that's available to members, easily accessible on the website, and there's mentors to help you get through it. So yeah, fantastic opportunity.
Fantastic. I mean, I think been really great to kind of hear your thoughts, guys. I hope everyone else on the call has enjoyed it. I think hopefully the sort of things that we've discussed previously at the board, which is about where we stand, which is about education and passion, you know, has come across. I think it's come across from you guys. So thank you very much for your time, for taking time out to just sort of have a little chat with everyone. And, you know, as we said, if anyone wishes to get in touch with anyone on the board, it's available through the website. Just click on that. We're kind of here to help you guys, and it's your academy. So thank you, everyone. Pleasure. Nice seeing you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Good evening.
Bye.
Bye.